Welcome to Neverending Realm, neverendingrealm.com. My name is Mont Cessna, and I'm here with my good friend Samuel Rivera. And we're going to be talking gaming news and everything that's going on right now. There's a lot of news. You might have seen our video last week. But Sam, what do you think the biggest thing going on right now is in gaming?
Well, obviously, this week has been all about Cyberpunk 2070.
Yeah.
And, massive fallout. No pun intended with the Bethesda's game. The massive that has befallen CD Projekt over this. I wrote an article about it. I just read an article from another site about it. It's pretty bad. I never seen a company fall from grace in such a fast, in such a disastrous way before. Like I never seen it. It's somebody wrote today, and I to the Facebook page, and I told them that it was a perfect storm of things that happened, and it feels that way because like a week ago, CD Projekt was one of the most beloved developers and publishers in the industry, and today they are the laughing stock of many gamers. And
is that a little too harsh? I mean,
I don't think so. I just read one of the critics who reviewed the game for PC, and he was actually accusing CD Projekt of using the media to lie about their game.
That's a very interesting take. I know you wrote an article, and there were some other articles that mentioned that they did not allow console versions of the game to be sent early to reviewers. Only PC versions.
That's exactly what he was talking about when I read the article. He said that there was this process in which the CD Projekt announced to the media that they will be able to get some review codes which they could download in their page. They have a page for that for the media, and then they get they get a key and they download the copies.
Yeah.
They told the media they were going to be able to get at first they told them they were going to be able to download the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One version, and the PC version, and Stadia, and so and then like a week after that, the guy, the reviewer says that the CD Projekt shrunk the media. They have contacted a lot of a lot of outlets, but then like a week before the game came out, they shrunk the media that was going to be allowed to review the game, and that's when they told the media that they were only going to be able to allow the media that was going to do the PC reviews to review the game. And they didn't really tell the media why this was happening, and this is why the reviewer is complaining, because he gave the game a good score, because on high-end PC the game doesn't have any. Well, it has issues and bugs, but it doesn't have all of the issues and bugs that are happening now on the Xbox.
Yeah, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Yeah.
So what he's saying is basically that he reviewed the game, and he was never able to make a comment on how this experience would differ if you were playing on PlayStation or Xbox, because CD Projekt never gave anybody a heads up about it. It's so he's saying that they were lied to and used, because they also weren't allowed to use footage. I don't know if you knew this. The PC reviews weren't allowed to capture video and show the footage. They can only show footage that was prepared by CD Projekt beforehand.
In their reviews.
In the reviews. So therefore,
So was there, I didn't see any disclaimer about this. Did you? Like in those reviews?
yes, I think in like 2 or 3 they mentioned that because of some embargo they couldn't really show footage, and they were only allowed
Oh,
to.
these are reviews that came out before the game was okay, I understand.
Yes,
Yeah.
before the game came out. So what they're getting here.
Yeah, I mean, um, I've heard the game runs really well if you have like a $3,000 PC. Um, I played about 4 hours today on the Xbox One, the base console. And yeah, I'll be honest. There's certain parts where you're playing in the open world and the game falls apart so badly, you're actually thinking that the Xbox One is spending more processing cycles trying to run all these anti-aliasing and smoothing filters on what has to be like 320 or 480p output, um, where you could make an argument that Shenmue 2 arguably looks better. And you can see that I posted some footage. I mean, you're laughing, but no, the game, it looks and plays like absolute garbage. A personal favorite game of mine is Deus Ex Shadow War on the original Xbox. That really got me into more games like this, and this really feels and plays on the Xbox One like a 360 beta of maybe the second game of that, which would have come out, that would be never released because it ran so poorly. It wouldn't be delayed for Xbox One. And the game looks like that too. I'm not exaggerating or joking. I'll put in some screenshots, but there's like points where you're shooting in like 15 frames a second on base Xbox One in like an enclosed small area boss fight, and you can't tell what's going on. It starts to break the game where you can't tell like what state the enemy is in, if they're being staggered by shooting, if they're injured. You just have no idea what's going on. It's all just a blur, and you can't make out anything, and it's just really, really bad. At least on the base Xbox One right now. So at least that's my take. Did you see some of the screenshots that I had uploaded, Sam? Which I'll put in this video as well. But
And I saw it running, and obviously I saw what you did, and I seen all of the other stuff that's been out for Digital Foundry, and everybody else was making comparisons.
Yeah.
So basically, what my article said was the same thing that this reviewer was saying. I mean, I honestly think they knew how bad this was, because there's no other reason. This doesn't happen. Like usually a AAA title gets, the review copies are out before, like a week or two before the game is out.
Yeah.
And usually you get a Metacritic score of the game. And this was one of those weird cases where only the PC version was out. So considering that we knew already that the base consoles were struggling, so we suspected that this was going to be a weird launch.
Yeah. I never in my wildest dreams thought it was going to actually be this bad on base Xbox. This has gone, unfortunately, far beyond my expectations for terrible. Like this would be like a first beta, maybe. This is just, it's not good. And then they were teasing multiplayer. That's definitely not going to happen unless on Xbox One or PlayStation 4. Maybe eventually on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. I'd like to see the person who said that you could make a $300 console that will beat the Xbox Series X playing this right now.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah. But, no, that's just, you're probably going to need like a $2,000 PC to really enjoy the game.
You can't even make a $300 PC that is even better than the Series S. I mean, the SSD alone is like $150. So
yeah,
this is part of the allure. People, people buy consoles when they come out because at the time that they come out, they usually
Yeah.
give you a lot of bang for the buck, like a lot. Like it costs you like
Yeah.
$1,000 at least to build a PC yourself that can match something
Yeah.
like.
And people also buy consoles because they expect companies like Microsoft and Sony, and even back in the day, Sega, to be gatekeepers to make sure that they were getting their bang for the buck when they're spending $60 or whatever on a console game. And Microsoft and Sony definitely either completely dropped the ball or I don't know.
Well, this is exactly what the reviewer was talking about. Like he was pretty much saying that CD Projekt has shown in the past and now shady behavior, in the sense that they did not mind the fact that a lot of the reviewers' reputation was thrown into the gutter by this because they weren't able to properly inform people. Like even PC people, the PCs have bugs. The PC versions have a lot of bugs.
Oh, there's tons of bugs on the Xbox One I haven't even mentioned. Like if you're doing one of the cyber scan things, which is really just the same thing you did in Deus Ex or even Watch Dogs, your character starts to float. Like I was thinking, like, could I bounce the character? Like I might be able to get like 100 feet just from a bug pushing a button. There was because you also use the B button to crouch and also skip dialogue. There's many times I was just like crouched in the corner trying to get up from being crouched, and it was skipping more dialogue. So I was just like this weirdo in the background while the person's like, "Are you even following me?" It's like I have no idea what's going on. And then there's just an insane juxtaposition between the very small scripted elements and what you're actually getting in the open world and real gameplay. It goes from being what you would think would be an Xbox One version of the PC game in very small scripted indoor elements, and then that completely falls apart. You can't even see the enemy's eyeballs when you actually start shooting, to be honest. So the game is broken. And this is why they're issuing refunds on the PlayStation. And I would be surprised if Microsoft doesn't eventually come out and offer refunds as well. And then you have the base, the minimum PC requirements that they listed online, they might offer refunds on Steam. We'll see what happens. Which would not be good for the company. At the same time, though, we're starting to. We've gone past the 10 minutes talking about this game, but maybe we should talk about some other news, though.
Well, yeah, but just to finish things off, they lost $1 billion today on the stock. Their stock plummeted, and this was before Sony announced that big pullout of the game. Because what's happening here is that they said that Microsoft and Sony. Remember when CD Projekt was, updating fans like, "Oh, we gone gold" and whatever. By going gold, they pretty much said that Sony and Microsoft, gave it the green light with their certification process. So, in other words, they're kind of throwing Sony and Microsoft under the bus because they allowed this to happen. But from what I gather is that these big publishers, they have a certain trust with the companies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, there's people at both companies, people at CD Projekt and Microsoft, I'm sure, talk every day and have been talking every day for years now just about Cyberpunk. So this is probably like a big slap in the face, too, to Microsoft and also Sony. Those people at Sony and Microsoft are going to feel really hurt and betrayed by this, actually. And it damages their reputations at their own companies as well, in case they're, if they want to make a career. It's not good.
What happens is what they do is they tell the publishers, the game is in this state, but we're going to fix it with a day one patch. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't happen. The game at least the PlayStation 4 version, what Sony's saying is that in certain areas the game completely breaks or crashes. That's unacceptable for any game. So the problem is they have to refund your money. People don't understand this. They think it's just because of the backlash by fans. That's not why it's happening. It's because, obviously fans are asking for the refund. But if I didn't like, let's say I downloaded Ghost of Tsushima and I didn't like the game and I want a refund, I'm not gonna get a refund because there's nothing. There's
No,
nothing.
not after you play past those 2 hours,
Yeah,
and within so many days. Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with the game. For this game, already the evidence is out there on videos, and the game is broken. So they have to refund my money. So the only way Sony can mitigate some of these losses is by just pulling the game out until it's fixed.
yeah.
And I
Because
just
every refund costs. It doesn't matter if you're Microsoft or Sony. Processing like a $60 credit card transaction and then refunding it has to cost at least a few bucks. And then there's all this like administrative overhead and all this stuff. I mean, it's costing money to refund these games. Money that's not a sale.
and I hope this is a lesson for everybody else because since the internet is out and developers figure out that they could patch things, games have been released with the mentality that we'll release it now and fix it later, and obviously not as bad as Cyberpunk. See, because everybody points to No Man's Sky. I don't know if you heard of that game, Mon.
Yeah. I actually have been thinking about. I played a little bit of it,
but it's two very different things. No Man's Sky was made by a small development studio. It wasn't. It just launched in a way that didn't a lot of stuff.
They overpromised. It was a content issue. Yeah, not a graphics or gameplay issue.
It was a Peter Molyneux.
Exactly. That's yeah.
So,
Imagine if it's apples to oranges, 100%.
Yeah, this is a AAA studio with a multi-million dollar budget, and they've been working on this game for 8 years. I mean, this game was announced before the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were out. So you have to blame everybody at CD Projekt, but the developers are not completely blameless here because they knew at some point people who bought a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One expected this game. Because right now, hindsight is 2020. You can say, they should have skipped.
Wasn't this game announced before GTA 5?
I can't go that far back, but I do understand that the game was like announced in 2012.
Therefore, yeah, like we said in the last video, the Keanu kind of felt slapped in for how long this game's marketing has been going in.
I wonder how.
After wasn't it like a first delay, and then they were like, "Oh, now we have Keanu."
It's I think they always knew, and the problem is when they made their statement, they admitted that they hadn't spent a lot of time on the time needed on base consoles, which to me is ridiculous because.
Well, then also they did introduce conflicting statements. In their one printed statement, they said that we are sorry for never showing the game on consoles. And they also said that basically they admitted that they faked that Xbox One and Xbox One X footage and PS4 and PS4 Pro footage. They admitted that. So they faked footage. They've committed, in my opinion, fraud, advertising fraud. Then aren't they also not listed on the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, and the Tokyo Exchange? They're on the Warsaw Exchange and traded over the counter. And they've increased in value by an actual 2,000% since 2016 without selling this game except pre-orders. So
yeah,
there's so much stuff going on, and
The Witcher 3 was The Witcher 3 has sold like 45 million copies or something by now. So that's been big. That's been huge for them. And the Switch, remember that they did release a Switch version of it, and apparently it sold extremely well. I don't have the numbers, but it sold well.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look good at all, but I mean, it played. It was playable.
It was sort of a technical miracle that the fact of the matter is that it actually looks worse, Cyberpunk on the base consoles.
Yeah, Cyberpunk looks worse on the Xbox One than Witcher 3 does on the Nintendo Switch. Actually, considerably so.
And to be fair, on the Switch, The Witcher runs easily at 30 frames per second. Like it holds that frame rate
Yeah.
fairly well. So the thing here is that this company has built a lot of goodwill based on one game, just The Witcher. That's
Yeah.
it. The reason people are well, Cyberpunk this, Cyberpunk that, CD Projekt is because of The Witcher.
Yeah.
Regardless
And
of
they have been running tons of game advertisements, especially in social media, that do not clearly define what is pre-rendered and what is actual gameplay footage, which is normally done, especially by PlayStation. PlayStation is usually very strict on that. At least they have been in the past. And so we had a whole bunch of gameplay that isn't even actually on any consumer graphics card shown as advertisements, and then you get into base Xbox One, which because they have the logo right there, and I mean we're really dropping down to like 320p at 15 frames a second when there's more than like 3 enemies on the screen. You're just trying to shoot, not even use any RPG elements.
look, this actually feels like back in the day when the Final Fantasy games used to come out on PlayStation 1, that you used to see the box art and you used to see the full motion videos, and then the game looked completely different than the full motion videos.
Oh.
Yes, it feels like that because you hit a good point there. If you see the character models
Yeah.
on the promotional posters and on the and some of the
videos in all the trailers and videos, yeah,
they do not look anything like they look Naughty Dog quality in those trailers, and now they look like, well, some of them don't even have a face. Like if you're playing,
you can't see their eyes; they're just like a dark shade there.
So to be honest,
it's just
they deserve what they get. I don't feel bad for CD Projekt. It's something that they dug themselves into this hole. They lie about it. Halo Infinite, Microsoft. Halo Infinite was Microsoft's big and only AAA title for the launch of the Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
And you know what? When they saw the fan reaction and they saw that it wasn't ready, they delayed it. So what kept CD Projekt from doing that? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the investors wanted the money and they wanted to cash in the holiday season because they knew this was going to be a big holiday season.
Yeah.
But now they're losing money, and they're going to lose a lot of more money now because with this news, I am assuming that tomorrow the stock is going to even take a bigger.
Oh, yeah. I assume it'll be like pulled from trading for a while, and there'll probably be like an investigation or something. In my opinion. And then also, what does this say for the long-term sales? I mean, it's forever tarnished. You'll never be able to Google Cyberpunk ever again without seeing a whole bunch of just terrible joke, just because that's what it looks like on base consoles. It looks like a joke. And it's completely unacceptable.
The issue is
they should not have released it, or they would have said, or they could have said, we're going to release it on PC now, and you have to wait.
For the next generation.
Yeah. But
I mean, the issue is that now, because they dug themselves into this hole, I don't even think we're going to see the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions until like next Christmas, to be honest with you.
Oh, because God. I might ask for a refund now because that's the only reason I even accepted to enter this hellhole of because of the promised. I'm going to try it on the my Xbox Series X soon here.
Supposedly you're gonna get a decent experience.
Supposedly. Just even if the shooting's smooth, I don't see the gameplay itself being.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Yeah, it needs a lot of tweaking.
It has an 87 on PC, which is not bad. It's good. It's not great. So definitely, even if Cyberpunk is working perfectly, it is not the greatest RPG of all time, like people were preaching before, like years before the game came out.
Yeah, I mean, I did say that this is the most anticipated RPG of the year, and to be honest, it is. I mean, how many pre-sales has it sold? 8 million or something?
8 million, yes.
8 million. How many copies did Final Fantasy VII R sell this year? Was it about 5 or 6?
No, well, I think when he came out, he sort of broke a record, but then like a month afterwards, or a few weeks afterwards, it was broken by the most hated game ever, The Last of Us 2. People hate the game for some reason. That broke Final Fantasy VII's record. But I think Square kind of stopped reporting numbers after they hit the 5 million mark. So I'm assuming it sold like 6 million units or something like that by now, 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, because they stopped reporting numbers. When they do that, it's because it's not breaking records anymore. So I assume everybody who wanted it got it, and then that's it.
Yeah.
But that was a big. I mean, that was
So
a big.
6, even 7 million. I mean, just that Cyberpunk sold 8 million pre-orders.
It kicked his ass.
Yeah, it is the most anticipated RPG of the year, and unfortunately,
and
if you're on at least on a base console, I'm going to test it this weekend on the Xbox Series X, but that's not the Xbox Series X version yet. And ultimately, just from what I've been playing, even accepting all the terrible graphics and frame rate and everything, the gameplay itself needs a lot of tweaking to be an effective RPG. Yeah.
Like, from what I've seen, it's not better than Fallout 4. It's not better than the.
Oh, much. It's insulting. I would say I didn't play Fallout 76 when it first came out.
Neither did I. I didn't think it was part of the main core.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and obviously that has been a train wreck. Supposedly it's good. I did play a little bit of it, and I'll see if I get into it enough to write a review or something. But yeah, this is like the same kind of train wreck. Probably even worse. At least in Fallout 76, you got at least Fallout 4 level graphics most of the time. In this, you're getting just an Xbox 360 beta that would never be released, basically. And yeah, it's just awful.
It's because of the expectations too. You know what I'm saying? People need to calm down. Like CD Projekt, all they ever done that was great was The Witcher 3. That's it. And that's a very different game from what they were intending to deliver with Cyberpunk.
Oh, absolutely.
Very different
absolutely.
Different gameplay. About the only thing that I was a little excited about was about how the story would work out, because they did a good job in that sense in The Witcher. But just looking at the mess that they are in right now, I think they should have just made The Witcher 4.
You can't really, yeah. I can't disagree with that. It's just the gameplay, just because of the technical issues and graphics and frame rate and everything, it's just taking away completely from the story and RPG elements. And I can't recommend it, at least on Xbox One. I'll test it on Xbox Series X, but I have a feeling that ultimately you should probably just wait, if you're going to play on console, for the actual Xbox Series X or PS5 releases. And if you have like a high-end PC, and by high-end PC I mean like you have DDR5 RAM, like probably at least 16 gigabytes of DDR5, and like a new RTX card and everything, you might be able to run it on medium. Yeah.
All I have to say is that I expect things to even get worse for CD Projekt here, and I expect them to do a lot of crunch, the developers, because they have to fix the base consoles. I mean that's a huge part of the reputation and sales right there, because right now there's not even a lot of Xbox Series X's and PlayStation 5s to go around to compare with the.
It's just really weird where it fell to in the kind of the product life cycle for the Xbox One and the PS4, kind of in between console generations, and it's just not acceptable on either, really.
No.
And it's not acceptable on the base minimum requirements they list for PC either.
And what's worse is just that fact. It's the fact that they knew that it was bad, because they knew it. They knew it was bad.
Yeah. Well, they've already said that they faked footage up to just a month before launch. They said that in their release, saying, "Oh, we thought that this was, these weren't actually running on consoles." They've never showed us them on consoles, actually, from what they said in that one statement. As far as I understand, So,
And there's some fanboys of the company that somebody even wrote on our site, oh, they're not obligated to send out review copies. But guess what? Everybody in the industry sends out review copies. I mean, this
yeah,
is expected. It's the ethical thing to do, because
yeah,
a lot of us, this is how you have an idea of what you're gonna get. CD Projekt didn't allow anybody, the console owners, to know what they were gonna get, except for the PC version that they were. The Metacritic score was like 90 at that time. It's 87 now. So if you were gonna buy the game, if you were gonna go to Walmart, or if you're just gonna download the game, the only thing you had to go on was the misleading PC review, because the console version doesn't come close to the high-end PC experience. So I think they lied, and I think they deserve whatever they get. Like, it's just, I feel sad in the sense that some people are going to get fired over this, and maybe some of these workers don't deserve it. Maybe the higher ups do, and the higher ups might not get. Might still stick around, but the fact of the matter is that it's just I can't recall something this bad ever happening. Like, but even Bethesda, we make fun of them, but the games are not broken. I mean, they just have some weird glitches, but they're not really broken. And I understand that open world games have issues. Like Valhalla had issues, but they were actually fixed like in 2 days. Like the PlayStation crash issue that it had. In the one mission, I think it was happening on base PlayStation 4.
yeah.
It was fixed like in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? And that was it.
Oh no, the problems in this game go so deep. For they're saying that there's going to be 2 patches, one in January and one in February, but they've done absolutely nothing except basically lie to us. So I'm very skeptical. I mean, if I were you, I would ask for a refund and get it. And then if you actually think that the patches fixed it well enough to play, then go ahead and buy it again. Nothing's stopping you from that.
That's a long time, man. That's
February. Yeah, that's after Christmas. And then who knows if they're going to be delayed longer. So if you bought the game on console, I wouldn't hesitate. I wouldn't pay $20 for this game.
Think about it. They're losing about 100 million PlayStation owners.
I paid $60 though for the game, to be honest, and I'm actually thinking of getting a refund after I boot it on X Series X and see how bad it is.
Well, I mean, a year from now, you're gonna get your free upgrade to the Series X version, I guess.
And by that time, they'll have Watch Dogs 5. No.
But you know what? People were making fun of Watch Dogs, but it is more playable than.
Oh, it's 10 times better. Watch Dogs 3 or Watch Dogs Legion on base Xbox One is just many times so much better than this. It's an insulting to Watch Dogs and Ubisoft to even compare Ubisoft to CD Projekt at this point.
Yeah. I'm sure we're gonna keep covering this because I'm pretty sure tomorrow something else is gonna happen. Either Microsoft is gonna announce that they too pulled out the
and then maybe Steam will as well. We'll see about that. We'll see what Gabe does. Maybe Gabe will save us all. He'll be like, guys, I've had this for a long time, and I've been updating it secretly this whole time. But I have Half-Life 3, and I knew that there needed to be a moment where everyone needed to smile. And between COVID and Cyberpunk, I think we need it. He'll just drop Half-Life 3 finally. No, I don't think that's happening.
What's funny about this is that Cyberpunk was supposed to be like the biggest closure for the biggest closing game in this generation. The big game for the holidays. And now that Sony has pulled it out, and that everybody's is bashing the game and it's broken. I guess Ubisoft is the one who's going to come out on top here because they have at least 2 big titles.
Just wait till the grandkids at Christmas are like, Grandma, I heard that game has so many dildos, and they pulled it from PlayStation Store, and the grandma will be like writing down and calling all her friends at church about this CD Projekt company with broken games, even Sony pulls.
it's not a kids game, but the fact that Ubisoft is the big winner here. They have the biggest games for the holidays now, and
I mean, I used to love their Tom Clancy stuff, and it's good to see them kind of grow up as a publisher. They did release some amazing stuff. Rainbow Six, the original Rainbow Six. A lot of good stuff. Yeah. Splinter Cell. Yeah. And
Grandia too. They published it. I mean, they did. They brought it over from
Chess
Japan.
Master. Yeah, I used to have Chess Master from Ubisoft. I mean, they are a major publisher, and at least I have some faith in Ubisoft. It's insane that I'm even saying this because I usually bash the Ubi as much as I can get lately. But man, they're just.
It's not. It hasn't been that bad. I mean, you've seen Watch Dogs on the Series X with ray tracing and stuff. So
but I mean, there was that thing where I lost like 4 hours of gameplay because it wouldn't save. I mean, they did fix that. They had a patch after about a week. I didn't play for like 2 weeks, and they had a patch. I've
been loving Valhalla too much, I guess. Valhalla, so, but it's just, I think CD Projekt just killed their goodwill and reputation. Like I thought they had some left.
No, it's a meme, and just wait for the Keanu backlash.
I wonder what he's thinking right now. Like he's usually in good stuff. Like he was that movie. What was it called? The one where he kills the dog.
No, they kill his dog.
Oh, that one. Oh, yes. Yeah. I never seen it. That's why I just heard about it. But
yes. Yeah, I don't know. I still haven't seen him. I've played 4 hours of Cyberpunk so far, and the only thing I've heard about him is apparently there's a drink at the bar that's named after him. So, I mean, that's as far as Keanu's gotten in the game so far.
I want to touch upon something here that you told me before. You say that the game starts in a desert. So a lot of people who are playing the game.
Oh no, it depends. There's 3 ways to start the game.
Oh, okay.
The first one, you start in the desert. The second one, you start in a very scripted garage sequence, and actually people drive you around for like an hour in the game, so you never actually get to drive because it would be just ridiculous. That's how bad the game. Yeah, and it keeps getting progressively worse. I've seen a playthrough of the one in the desert. I've played the one so far where you're a street kid or street punk or whatever, and that is just every 10 minutes in the game and the scripted sequences just keep getting worse and worse looking. So maybe that's what they've been working on since the month delay. Completely redoing everything so it's no longer truly open world. You're going into zones like in Oblivion. That's what it feels like when you go into the doors in Oblivion, and just the small. It's just. Well, I definitely feel like the prologue stuff was put into the game to kind of hide stuff to get past that 2-hour mark, in my opinion, before they had to issue a refund, because it definitely falls apart. You would think they were 2 completely different games on different systems between the small scripted area stuff in the very beginning and the actual open world gameplay.
So this is probably why some people still swear that they haven't had any issues yet.
They're still stuck in the prologue area, in like very small rooms. Because
I read that it gets worse. Like it gets progressively worse.
Oh, it just the longer I play, the worse it gets.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I gather. So I mean, I guess that's Cyberpunk for today. I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll have more next week. I mean, this is not going to end now.
Definitely.
So, other news this week.
I saw after all this angry news lately, just negative news. I saw your Throwback Thursday article today. Really had a lot of likes. You're talking about the one Legend of Zelda game, Twilight Princess, was it?
I'm shocked. Because I did like a few months ago, or maybe a few months ago, the Throwbacks Majora's Mask Thursday edition, Throwback edition, and it had like 5 likes or something like that. And I was like, we don't have any Zelda fans. Maybe, but we used to have like 1,000 less followers then, so maybe we have a lot of Zelda followers now. So yeah, I did Twilight Princess.
Just a shout out to Omar. I think he's our most hardcore Zelda fan.
Yes,
If he's listening, yeah.
Yes, he's a truly the most hardcore Zelda fan of us all, and he's very knowledgeable with the lore and stuff. He does the fan fiction with he does he has 3 chapters.
Sora, yeah,
the Sora one, and he has 3 chapters of the if Zelda, like he makes a screenplay sort of like a movie.
Yeah,
like if Zelda was a movie. He has three parts of it, and it's really good. You guys should check it out. So either way, I mean, he wrote to me about it too because he loves Twilight Princess. My memories in those days. Remember, I used to work at the FedEx when I first had.
It was that long ago. Twilight Princess came out, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes, you're old.
Yeah. I remember I used to think, the GameCube. Look how small and sleek it is. It's almost as cool as like the new Macintosh or something. That's kind of what they modeled it after now that I think about it. Like the little cube with like the little discs.
I always thought it looked like Barney's lunchbox, but anyway.
What? It doesn't even...
It's purple. It was purple. I mean, I guess later on there were some other colors, but I had the purple one. So what I recall really about that game was the trailer first, where people cried and everything when it was first shown, because it was like Zelda turns into Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings was like at the peak of its popularity back in those days.
Oh yeah,
the films.
I mean, even people who hated like RPGs and anything fantasy were all like, all the Lord of the Elves, all the dwarves. They were all just like.
Yeah, everybody was on it. So Zelda kind of took Twilight Princess took a little bit from that, especially in that trailer. And I bought that game for the GameCube because I wasn't very interested in the Wii at the time, and I had Oblivion and I had Twilight Princess, and I actually stopped playing Oblivion to play Twilight Princess because I was just enchanted by that game. I felt it was the true sequel that I wanted for Ocarina of Time. Wind Waker was a great game, but it wasn't what I was expecting from the series after it went kind of dark with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. But Twilight Princess brought me back into the fold. So it was really a great game, and I'm happy that there's a lot of people that like it, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we also had, I guess we had the article about the PlayStation sales and GameStop, which apparently GameStop had a stock.
When's the last time you saw positive GameStop news?
I don't know, like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they took over and they bought Funkoland and they bought Electronics Boutique, and then they made that they made that deal with Game Informer, and they used to give you a magazine for your subscription, and you used to get 10% discount. You
remember when EB had like actual stores, like large stores?
Yes, they used to be in every mall. There used to be one of the small.
Yeah, back in the Toys R Us days, remember those? Yeah. You used to actually get to play the actual games. You can't even play the game. I mean, even before the COVID stuff, you can't actually. There's no demo units. So, what's the point of going to the store? So many blunders.
But the point was that GameStop treats its employees like crap. I mean, they get stock and they don't tell their employees, and then they warn their employees only minutes before they tell the people, the regular customers. So what happened was that customers kind of flocked to the GameStops, and the employees weren't ready. They couldn't even follow the protocols for COVID because people just kind of
how many
and see. But yeah, that's awful. I mean, that's especially because Sony wants to keep that from happening. They made it a statement that they want people to come on I call you. I'm the retailer. I call you. Your console is here. You come pick it up, and that's how they want to do things.
Yeah, that's how I got my Xbox Series X from Walmart. Yeah, there's like they said you can come between these times, and when I got there, I called them, and then there's like a code I had to confirm, and then they brought the Xbox out, and it was actually kind of weird because it's dark now, in especially at night, and it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I was like parked on the weird side where there's no lights, like near the closed garden section, so it was just super sketchy. And the guy brought it out in like a paper towel box. It was just like it was more sketchy than if I just went in and got it myself from the counter.
Yeah, with armed guards and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all the big news this couple of weeks. I mean, the Cyberpunk, shortages of consoles, which the shortages. There's no end in sight. I'm looking for a PlayStation 5. I don't think I'm gonna get it before Christmas. I just can't find it.
Yeah.
And the throwback, which was Zelda, and that's been it. That's been it for this week.
Yeah, we do have several other articles too. You gotta check out the page, guys. We can't tell you everything that happened for the week. There's another number of other writers too. So, and we also post other content. So make sure you check out the website, neverendingrealm.com.
Tomorrow,
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We got all the bases covered.
Yep. Tomorrow we're gonna have a Dark Souls, Soulsborne article. So.
Oh.
Yep. So Dark Souls and Soulsborne fans, tomorrow's your day to check out the site and read the article.
Yeah.
It's by I think it's by Nicole DeAndrea, so it's one of our writers. So that we're looking forward to that. And yeah, just keep liking the page, keep subscribing, keep sharing, and just take it easy on us. We're the message. Yeah. We're the messengers. We're not getting paid by Sega or anything to bash.
Oh, yeah, I saw a rumor on some message boards. They were saying that Sega was paying us to bash Cyberpunk because it was better than Shenmue 2. Okay, I'm making that up, guys. No, we don't make really any money on the site. Yeah, but we don't have any sponsors. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been suggested that we were being paid to bash on games, and that's not true. That's not true at all. We were actually just reporting. We're actually just reporting what we've seen, and now what you have played, and what was actually the truth. I mean, if Sony decides to pull the game out, that means that it is broken. So it's not that we were making this stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they're pulling potentially, tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue they're taking away. And a company like Sony wouldn't say, no, we're not going to take $100 million revenue for something that they don't even have to do anything for. That's just insane.
Yeah.
So there's obviously some serious problems, and we've tested it and we've seen, and if you don't believe us, we can't help you.
I mean, maybe some people, there's some people that are colorblind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People can't tell us right. Maybe some people are like frame rate
blind.
They can't tell if something is 30 frames per second or something is 15 frames per second. Personally, if I see that happening, I even kind of stutter in the chair.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's and I'm not even talking about the PC Master Race here. The people who play at 240 frames. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about a stable game. I'm just talking about,
Yeah, we're just simple console peasants here, and it's not playable.
And it's a shooting game. At the end of the day, you're still shooting in first person.
That's your melee attack basically. And if your melee attack doesn't even work in an RPG, on the first level of you as a character, then it's broken.
And shooting, it's frame rate. It's so important for shooting games.
Absolutely.
60 is preferable, but if you're going to do 30, it better be 30. Like you don't want to go from 30 to 20, from 30 to 15, 15 to 20. That's just crazy. Like you won't be able to shoot anything in that, in that.
Yeah. No, you're not gonna hit anything. And it's so blurry, you don't know if you're hitting their head, their arm, what's going on, if they're injured, if they're doing something. It just at this point the game would be improved if they used 2D sprites. That's how bad it is. And I wish I was exaggerating, but yeah. Um, I mean, this is how bad it is. Really, yeah. I mean, people are still going to say, "Oh no, you're lying," and there's going to be tears coming down their cheeks. They're going to be like, "Cyberpunk is the greatest game in the world," and they're playing like the same version I am. And I'm gonna like, no, I'm going to play some more Halo 5 on my Xbox Series X because at least that's 4K and 60 frames a second online. It's just unacceptable nonsense on this.
People they should be angry. CD Projekt lied to everybody. They didn't. I would have been happy if they would have just sent the review copies, and it would have got. I think it has like a 50 Metacritic rating now on PlayStation 4.
You said 15 or 50? 50. Okay.
It's still pretty bad, but
yeah, that's 15. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know the numbers went that low.
No, 50 is bad. Like this is what CD Projekt didn't want. Like they didn't want a 50 Metacritic score, but that's what it is. What it is.
And they got that, and they got their reputation dragged to the mud too. Worse than if they just let it out.
And it's funny because the reason why they build the reputation because The Witcher The Witcher was buggy. Yeah, it was buggy, but guess what? I didn't have internet. I used to live like in the Hicklands, and I didn't have internet when I bought The Witcher 3. And so basically, I played the game on PlayStation 4 with all of the bugs, with all the performance problems, and I was able to get through it. I was able to get through the game through the end, and I loved it. And I noticed in Crookback bug there was like frame rate drops, big and in Novigrad, but it wasn't like this. Like it was nowhere near close. Like The Witcher 3 was a complete game. When it came out, you could finish the game, you could play the game, you could finish it, you could enjoy the game. That's not the case with Cyberpunk at all.
Yeah.
So
it's not bugs; it's like core issues, basically. At least on base consoles.
Yes, it's because bugs. If when you have a floating car, sometimes that's actually amusing if you see a car floating around or whatever. But this
yeah, if it happens once, maybe.
well, yes. Obviously, you don't want to have that. And have you had issues with the cops in the game?
Yeah, actually, I've had several run-ins now with the police in the game. One, I was because my car was floating, I couldn't recall it or anything like that, and it was stuck there. So I had to run the whole like kilometer and a half back to try to like continue the mission. And there was this guy there, and I was looking around, like there's only like 2 or 3 other people on the street, and like the game is so bad when you run up to somebody you can walk through them, like just clip right through them, and it takes like 5 or 10 seconds before they actually are like a solid object in the game, or you can hit X and they just say one line randomly. That's how bad it is. And so I thought, I'm just gonna shoot this guy in the head, see what happens. So I shoot him, and then these 2 drones show up, but they're so blurry you don't even know what they are. They're just shape shooting at you. And everything's like stuttering, and like I turned around to run away, and I got gunned down. And then another time, I was still trying to get back to the main mission on foot because my car was still stuck. After I respawned again, and I jumped off a 100-foot bridge and landed in for some reason I landed like in this crime zone the police were investigating, and the cops were like, "Whoa!" And I didn't take any damage, even though it showed like a damage like fall. Like I expected I'd die. Like the screen was all red, and I'd like taken no damage. And I don't have any upgraded legs either, or anything. And the cops are like, "Stop right there!" And I just like jumped over like a ledge and just like hobbled away. They didn't chase me or anything. It was just, yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, there's. I'll put this clip in too in the video while we're talking. So the game crashed the one time, and at this bar I was supposed to go into, so it rebooted and everything. I'm driving around a stolen car, which the cops. Oh yeah, the cops spawn so slow you can just like steal a car and just drive off. And by the time the cops load, like there's no chase or anything. It's just silly. But I parked this car and I come back out to it, and like 4 people have spawned like their legs are going into the car, through the car. And I'm thinking, like, what is this? Is this like some clipping or something? Like, I'm parked on the sidewalks. I didn't think much about it. So I get in my car and I hit reverse, and like 7 people, not even the ones who were touching the car or clipping through the car, all fell down like had been hit by the car. And then all the police are chasing me suddenly. And then all I did is just like press the gas on this like sedan I stole from some woman. And like the police couldn't keep up with me. So it's silly. It's just broken and silly.
That actually sounds like a bad nightmare. Like you described to me, like you had like a bad dream or something.
Yeah, that's what the game feels like.
I mean, we should, I guess we should call it a day. I mean, we could keep talking about this for like hours.
Oh God, we're almost at an hour. Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about more, but I mean, I guess this is definitely probably the news of the year for gaming.
I mean, this is going to be talked about for like months now.
I can't think of really a game.
I think
that was a. I mean, is this comparable to ET on the Atari? Are there going to be? Are retailers going to start burning and destroying CD physical copies of Cyberpunk for PS4 and 360, Xbox One?
This might end up being the most infamous video gaming incident since like ET, I guess. I mean, the only saving grace here is that it was digital copies mostly that were sold.
Yeah.
Because if this would have happened in the 90s, you would have like people.
Oh, there would be warehouses of Cyberpunk that they would be like destroying.
Yeah, of cartridges and CDs. Yes. So the only saving grace here is that it just happened now. And and this shows you the evils of social media too. I mean, social media made Cyberpunk the game of the year before Cyberpunk ever even came out.
Yeah.
And now Cyberpunk might actually win. Like, what are those awards? Like the bad movie award?
The Razzies?
Yes. You might win a Razzie for like the most embarrassing moment in gaming of the year.
Yeah.
It's just at least on consoles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. At least on the Xbox One and the PS4. Yeah.
Yeah, because on the PC, I guess it is an 80 something. It's not a game of the year either. But
if you have above minimum system requirements.
Yeah, I will actually say if you have like at least the graphics that they were promising, you need like a $3,000 rig.
Yeah.
For the graphics that they were promising beforehand. But yes, it is ironic. It is ironic how quickly they fell from grace. Like CD Projekt was like, "Oh, we love CD Projekt. You guys are great." 1 week, and then the next week, "Oh, you guys lied to us, you bastards."
I mean, at this point, I feel like writing an apology card to Ubi. It'd be like, I've not said I've appreciated you enough over the years, but thank you. You made my Christmas better, Ubisoft. For at least patching Watch Dogs 3. And there's ray tracing. I mean,
I would never make fun of Bethesda ever again.
Yeah.
No, at least they, Fallout 4. I have a review. I think, I gave it a good score. It is a good game. I didn't like it as much as you did, but maybe because I'm not as big of a fan of Fallout. But it was very playable from the get go. Like,
yeah,
it was, and I thought the graphics did not look as impressive as they should have been. But compared to this, my God.
The shooting, the resolution.
Yes.
Just the RPG element, every single story, even so far, every single element was superior. I mean, you literally walk around in Cyberpunk and you scan people, and there's like, you hit X and they say a random line, the majority of people. It's it's just silly. It's not an RPG, at least on Xbox One so far.
This is that's what I don't understand. Like, if you can have something like Fallout running on an Xbox One 5 years ago or 6 years ago on Xbox One and base PlayStation 4, how can you? It obviously shows that they worked really hard on the high-end PC version, and they kind of just mailed the base console versions in. Like, they really didn't work on that. Because we had Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Redemption 2 pushes technology as far as it can go.
I really never thought the Xbox One or any 1080p game would look that good ever.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like even the Xbox One, when pushed to the limit in that game, drops as far as I guess 864p, but that's a world of difference from what it drops on from Cyberpunk, from the resolution that Cyberpunk drops to. And the assets, and the frame rate is just, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 runs at 30 frames per second pretty much almost all the time.
Yeah,
and it's a huge game, so there's no excuse for this. Like there's like, it's not because, you know, if you have ray tracing on PC, nobody cares if you have ray tracing on PC or you know, because you don't have that on consoles. You have to optimize for consoles. It's just, it makes no sense. And it doesn't look that good. Like it doesn't look that good for it to have that, you know, those issues on console.
Yeah,
I don't understand. You know, and even on the premium consoles, it doesn't really look that good either. Like on the Pro and the Xbox One X, it looks like an average game, pretty much, that runs poorly and that crashes. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much else to say. I'm sure we'll have more to say though tomorrow after Sony and Microsoft and potentially even Steam have a say, and we'll get some more clarification. But anyway, don't worry. Once we get all the Cyberpunk out of the way, we have definitely more retro content and RPG stuff. But you know, Cyberpunk was the most anticipated RPG of the year, and we thought we really needed to cover it. So, and if there's just one person out there who decides not to buy it for Xbox One because they saw this, you know, we figure our job's well done.
Yeah, we saved you $60 and a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
This is the type of game you should just wait until CD Projekt gets their shit together and they actually do the next gen versions, because I can't see how they're gonna fix this mess. I can see it. God bless them. I can't see how they're gonna fix the base consoles. I just, you know,
no.
It's gonna take millions of dollars to fix this.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, make sure, thanks for watching. Make sure you check out the website, neverendingrealm.com, our Facebook, facebook.com/neverendingrealm. We're on Twitter, at NerGames, NER Games. And we have YouTube you can find us on as well. We're going to have plenty more content on the website this week. And thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and comment and share. Anything else, Sam?
No, that's pretty much it for this week. I think just keep in mind, every Thursday we have the throwback, and we're retro, except today we're talking Cyberpunk. Yeah. And happy it's Christmas. It's Christmas. We're gonna have one more session before Christmas. I think we will.
What day is Christmas? That's pretty sad. You don't know what day Christmas is.
We're very disconnected.
Yeah, it's COVID time. I think we'll have another. We'll probably make another video next week. But yeah, if we don't see you before then, guys, have a Merry Christmas. Yeah, thank you for watching, guys.
All right, thank you.
All right, see you, Sam.